All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are breaking down a being that was literally forged from legendary nightmares. We're going to get into the anatomy of a god killer, and specifically, how one of the most iconic forces of nature became its physical, destructive foundation. That's not just some dramatic line. That's a genuine threat assessment. It's talking about the Iron Queen, a being known as a singularity of magic. So don't think of her as just some powerful witch. No. Think of her as a living, breathing corruption of reality itself. So, okay, the Iron Queen is a world-ending threat. We've established that. But how does something like this even happen? How does it come to exist? Well, it's not born, and it's not made in any way we would normally understand. It is forged.
The key phrase here, the one you really need to hang on to, is violent alchemy. Just imagine taking several incredibly powerful beings, breaking them down into their most raw, basic essence, and then just smashing them back together. The result is a singularity of magic, something totally new and way more terrifying than its individual parts ever were.
See, the Iron Queen is what you'd call a composite entity, a monstrous fusion of three completely distinct mythological forces. So to really get what this thing is, you have to pull it apart. You have to look at the pieces that were sacrificed to create the whole. So this is the blueprint for a monster. You've got the ancient, cosmic-level intellect of Baba Yaga. You've got the bottomless, demonic power of Mephistopheles as the engine, and providing the physical body, the vessel. That's Maleficent's dragon form. And for this explainer, we are going to zero in on that crucial physical foundation.
So what exactly did Maleficent bring to the table here? I mean, it was way more than just some scales and claws. It was the literal shape of destruction, the physical manifestation of the Iron Queen's rage. Maleficent provides the form. And listen, this isn't just a body, it's a walking, breathing weapon system. That dragon physiology gives the queen an armor of nearly impenetrable black scales, and her very nature becomes the source for the queen's main ways of attacking you. And the fuel for all this power? It's pure, uncut spite. Seriously. Maleficent's endless malice gets channeled into this devastating command of the elements. So it's not just magic, it's pure rage given the form of lightning and fire and apocalyptic storms. And just in case elemental fury wasn't quite enough, Maleficent brings another, even more terrifying weapon to the arsenal, a weapon that's described with this one chilling phrase. Now, here's the part you really need to get. The fusion process amplifies Maleficent's signature move, the Forest of Thorns, to a scale that is just unbelievable. It goes from being a scary, powerful curse to a literal tool of planetary extinction, a supernatural cancer that can actually choke an entire world to death. So, how do you do it? How do you fuse a dragon's body to a demon's heart and a crone's mind? Well, it takes this brutal, self-dismantling ritual. It's a whole process of destruction and recreation called the spinning of the void.
The ritual is this horrible two-step process. First step is the grind, which is just what it sounds like, a complete deconstruction of the components. And that's followed by the weave, which is the violent act of forcing those broken pieces back together into something brand new and absolutely terrifying.
The very first act of this ritual was this incredible symbolic sacrifice. Maleficent's dragon wings, the very symbol of her power, her freedom, were hacked off and thrown into Baba Yaga's giant mortar. It was the ultimate act of surrendering her individual self. For the next stage, they take another one of Maleficent's famous artifacts, and they just twist its purpose. Her cursed spindle, once a tool for putting princesses to sleep, is now used to literally spin raw hellfire from Mephistopheles' core into a physical thread. And the whole point of that hellfire thread, it was to bind the different parts together forcefully, unnaturally, to, as the lore puts it, violently stitch the dragon's flesh to the crone's bones. Just a horrifying, awful act of recreation. But here's the final, twisted irony. Those wings she sacrificed, they weren't just destroyed, oh no. They were repurposed. Now Maleficent's severed wings are what propel the Iron Queen's transport across dimensions, a constant flapping reminder of the power that was broken to create this new entity.
So, after all that horror, what did it actually create? I mean, what happens when you take the raw, destructive fury of a dragon and you bolt it onto a cosmic intellect with an infinite demonic power source? This lays out the transformation perfectly. Before, you had Maleficent's raw, untamed spite. Afterwards, you get that same wrath, but now it's focused, guided by Baba Yaga's brilliant mind. Her individual destructive power is now plugged into the inexhaustible hellfire core of Mephistopheles.
And that's really the main point. This wasn't a simple case of 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. It was a multiplication. The fusion created a true singularity, a being that goes so far beyond the limits of its individual parts that it becomes a threat on a completely different cosmic scale. The creation of the Iron Queen, it's like this dark, twisted allegory for transformation. And it leaves us with a pretty unsettling question, doesn't it? To become something more, does a part of you have to die? Is real, profound change only possible through the violent sacrifice of who you used to be?